All right. Hey, everyone. Welcome back to episode 2 of the Smokin and Jokin podcast.
Can you believe that? They didn't cancel us on the first one.
Oh.
Sorry.
We don't know yet.
Yeah.
So last week we talked a little bit about our bare necessities, the things that we use the most and trust and love the most. This week we're going to dive into gummies.
Yep, absolutely.
There's so much to learn about gummies. Today we're mostly going to go into how they make the gummies, so the type of cannabis oil that's going into it, because believe it or not, it really does affect how it works. Yeah, there's a lot of gummies to choose from, and we want to make it a little bit easier for you guys to understand, because there was a lot that I didn't know going into it, and that I had to learn working in the industry, but also just trying different gummies. I found certain kinds didn't work for me, and then I found the kinds that did, and everybody has a different experience. So yeah, we're just going to kind of talk about that today and go over our
some
experiences.
Gummies. Yeah, because ours are going to be ones that kind of highlight the differences of these products too. So
yeah. So before we get to it, though,
I know we got to smoke, right?
We got to smoke a little bit of something.
Well, this was you though today, right? I think you were bringing the smoke. So
yeah. So we had discussed maybe doing some flower, but we got some really cool infused pre-rolls in at the store that were actually an unexpected surprise. So,
kind of like a gift from the weed gods.
Yeah,
is what
pretty
it was,
much.
really. Yeah.
Dose infused pre-rolls are ones that we swear by.
Every day. Yep.
All day. And we didn't know about this, but with our most recent order of dose joints, we got in a few strains. This one, Chocolate Kush, that we're going to be smoking today. And another one, Love Potion number 9. You can tell, like, just by the name of those could be, like, you know, Valentine's Day strains.
Love Potion, chocolates. Yeah, that makes sense. I get that.
And they decided to send us half of those, each of those, wrapped in rose petals. So what we're going to be smoking today isn't wrapped in a raw cone. It's not wrapped in an element, a zigzag, nothing like that. It is wrapped in rose petals.
No kidding. She's not playing.
Yeah. We tried the Love Potion, and it was phenomenal. Almost burned like a cigar.
It did. And as long as we were outside, that thing would not hit or burn unless we were hitting on it. And we didn't smoke that much because you would get great hits, but it was burning so slow and even.
Right. So we're about to light that sucker up.
Did you have a special butane, or were you going to use a crack lighter?
No,
here?
I think we're just going old school crack lighter today.
She's on full blast too.
It's purple. It matches the dose.
I did that on purpose. You know that.
Yeah. We love to match around here.
We do. I think my daughter would have been disappointed if they wouldn't have matched. I mean, seriously. So, yeah, can't do that.
Yeah, if you've never seen a dose pre-roll, they color code, like most other companies. They color code their Sativa, Hybrid, and Indica, and their Indica strains are purple. Their label is purple. And they claim that Chocolate Kush is an Indica. Now, we're going to have to get into that a little bit. Because we don't know. We don't know if it really is or if it's a sativa.
No, I realize that we said tune in because we're like the experts. But even when you check with the experts on this one, you don't really get a feel of what this is, do you? I mean, you don't. So we're going to find out. I bet I can't light it with my vape.
Probably not.
No. Look at those rose petals in there. Not water damage, as we first assumed.
Yeah, we saw them right off the bat and just thought, oh, these things are diseased. Because they looked horrific. Without the context that they were rose petal joints. We were expecting just a regular old cone.
What thing hits?
Okay. So what we're seeing here, Leafly is what we're going off of right this second, says Chocolate Kush is a powerful indica strain that captures the best of its two parent strains. Mazar? I'm sorry if I'm pronouncing that wrong. But
yeah.
We're from Oklahoma, so.
We can't read.
So first parent strain lends its potent full-body euphoria, while its other pure indica parent, that is unnamed, passes
Unknown,
on a pungent aroma of hashy incense and chocolate. Okay, so that is right off the bat saying it's a heavy indica strain.
Now, by the way, though, I will say, I think the guy that was writing that, or the woman,
My hands are shaking.
I saw that.
I'm jonesing.
You're jonesing for flour. I know you're not nervous. And I've completely time traveled that out. I'm really sorry.
that's okay.
Yeah, I was going to say something about that. I forgot completely.
Okay, so here's what it says right after that, though. Right after it says Chocolate Kush is a powerful indica strain, it says the sativa dominant chocolope, like jackalope, but chocolope,
yeah.
Kush sometimes goes by the name Chocolate Kush. So be sure to confirm this strain's genetics with your bud tender if you're looking for the heavy-handed indica. So dose, in this case, is our bud tender, because they're saying it's the indica variety of Chocolate Kush. I mean, we'll find out.
We're going to find out.
And we're going to tell you, but that just goes to show you, like, sometimes, even if a strain has the name that you know,
Yeah.
it might not be the same high that you're expecting. So always try to ask, when you're buying flour or pre-rolls, how the strain, if you're curious, how the strain affected your bud tender, and what kind of experience they've heard about it. Because some like this, Chocolate Kush, well, it may be an indica, but it may also be a sativa, because sometimes they like to rename stuff.
Look at Weed Maps, same flower. Look up Chocolate Kush, and it tells you that it is euphoric, giggly, and happy, which sounds like a sativa. It won't give the other parent's name either. So we're right down the middle on this thing, so we're going to find it out. Hopefully, wherever you go, whatever dispensary you go to, they actually smoke their flower and try their products so that they'll know. But, I mean, it sounds like we're joking, but that really is part of our job, is to try these and so we can tell you about them. And I'm excited about this. It burned great. It burned, well, except for that one little chunk there. I'm sure that's how it was probably me lighting it.
Now, despite my coughing, it is quite a smooth smoke. I would say it gets you more in your lungs than in your throat. Like,
It's got to be the terps or something. You can feel it. It doesn't hurt.
No,
but you can feel it.
It just kind of catches you a little bit.
It damn sure does. I'm already starting to feel a little bit sativa. And it could be opposite, but I'm starting to feel happy. Not that I'm not anyway, but...
Pretty unhappy over here.
Pretty pissy, I know, yeah.
Yeah, I would say I'm feeling pretty uplifted so far, but, she's still got a few minutes to wander.
I will say this, I've noticed with doses lately, all of them good, they've been a little bit of creepers.
Yeah.
And this one, too, I would say this may very well be one of those, but I'm just now starting to really feel it. Well, this is pretty special, because like she said, we had no idea we were getting rose petal anything. So
nope, they did not tell us. Goodness. It feels like a terpy cough. Sorry. The other thing I was thinking about, too, I don't know much about rose joint manufacturing. But how
no, I don't know. No, really.
Clearly,
right.
I don't know.
Because if you think about it, the ones I've seen, they sell for $20 or $25 because they're partially handmade. Because the only way you can do it.
How can a machine make these?
I don't know.
Maybe they didn't, but
I don't know.
I can imagine a machine being able to, work up a regular old joint.
I'm getting both of it though. Aren't you getting both? Or because man, great flower though.
Good Lord, I think I'm good.
Was somebody just talking about having TB or iron lung or something? I think that you're losing it.
Oh my God, it's a good flower because I'm feeling heavy behind the eyes.
Your eyes aren't small yet, but that's probably yet to come. I like it.
It's
really,
good.
really like it.
I'm feeling very happy, but I am indeed relaxed. I'm okay.
Dose is one of those good brands that really generally are only in a couple dispensaries in each town. There's just not in every one. But they make the full spectrum cannabis oil from the flower, then infuse it with it. And it's just not generally harsh. But boy, they do hit. And I will say this, we have not smoked not even a quarter of it.
No.
And I think we're going to take a break on that one and talk about something else.
We might return to it later,
will.
almost
Yeah.
guaranteed in this time frame.
Count on that.
One for the road.
Just one more. For the road.
It's good. Yeah, I'll take one.
You do feel it. I will tell you, it's not harsh at all, but boy, you feel it.
It's so funny. Every time our boss has us test a flower sample that we're considering getting in the store, he'll say, "How is it? How is it? Oh, how's it smoking?" And 99% of the time, we're in the middle of like hacking up a lung, and we're like, "Oh man, it's such a
It's great.
such a smooth smoke." And it's always just that one moment that he catches us where it's a little bit rough. Maybe you're hitting the pocket of Kiev. Who knows?
People ask me why I smoke flower opposed to the other ways that you can take your medicine, right? For me, there's almost instantly a little alarm that goes off that just tells me I've had enough.
Yeah.
You know what I'm talking about? Really?
Yeah, because with edibles, I mean, probably any person that uses THC has had this moment where, with edibles, you don't feel it immediately. Sometimes you get impatient, and sometimes they come in waves.
Yeah,
so
they
might not set in the amount of time that you're expecting.
Yellow.
Somebody honked out there.
It's a fan. That's what it is.
Yeah. Hey, Smokin and Jokin!
Smokin and Jokin's here.
Hey, I see your blue lights in there.
They keep asking me if I'm smoking or I'm joking. Then they look at me and they go, yeah, I know. Anyway, go ahead. We've all been
time
taking
travel.
Yeah, that's called time travel. You saw it
that's
live
what's
there.
happening. What were we talking about?
We were talking about the size of the gummies, the dose of them, and I like flower because I can kind of judge when I need to stop. Yeah. But I'm not saying that you don't need to smoke more if you want to, but for us, we found that certain ceiling that where we can feel comfortable, outgoing. For me, it's my shoulders. They're just horrific. And I don't need it anymore.
For me, it's everything.
She may need 4 or 5 more hits than I do.
Yeah, I mean, people have been telling me.
There's no judgment there. So.
They've been telling me since I was like 6 that, man, you're just a little old woman in that body, aren't you? And in a lot of ways, they're not wrong. I'm just like a 90-year-old woman in a 23-year-old's body. I'm not 23 yet, but I'm almost there.
Well, speaking of gummies, I guess we can talk about gummies.
Let's talk about gummies.
Let's talk about gummies. I think that's a good idea. Yeah, you smoked before getting into the industry.
Yeah. So I was a patient at the dispensary and at other dispensaries before I started working there. And I really only did flower because I had experience for a long time. Every time I would try an edible, no matter what kind, whether it was chocolate, a gummy, peach ring, whatever.
Right.
That is a gummy, but it's a different type, It
is too. They hit different, that's for sure. I guarantee you.
It didn't matter what kind I tried or seemingly what dose. I just didn't really have much effect from them, so I stuck with smoking. Because, my brother, shout out to Michael, love you, man. He is like the stoner of the family.
She didn't just label her brother at all.
If you know Michael, you know.
You know, it's okay. It's not even a label.
Anyways.
It's a compliment.
Yeah, so Michael taught me everything I needed to know, but every edible he gave me, I was like, does he just have bad taste or something? Because
does he even know what an edible is?
These aren't working. And it wasn't until I got into the business that I finally started venturing out and actually trying things again other than flower, because I was able to get more education on it.
So when you took them again at the store, they didn't work, did they?
No, because I was trying like gummies. Obviously, that's not what I meant to say. I was trying Smokies.
The dog just walked out, so.
And I got distracted.
She can't even put up with us.
I was trying stuff like Smokies, just like their regular gummies, Green Hornets. And really all that would happen was I would get a migraine and I would get extremely sleepy. So I wouldn't feel like much of a high. And if I did, it was not lasting long. It would set in maybe 2 hours after I took it, last 15, 20 minutes. And then I just started that migraine set in, and I would just get so tired. I would have to go to bed. And it wasn't pleasant.
Obviously didn't like
it. Wasn't
them.
pleasant. No, so I just stuck with my flower.
So for me, I
was scarred for a while.
Yeah, because I didn't know any better. So I took a Smokies the first time, 10 milligrams. You start low, the lowest they had.
Yeah.
And it just hit great. It hit, but that waiting period, that was hard,
sometimes.
because if you're needing it right then, but yeah, and you don't know exactly when it's going to come. We've kind of got some of them down to a science now, but
and that's something you'll notice that we'll kind of get into is
we will.
Depending on how the edible's made, it might hit a little bit differently. I've noticed that with like rosin or resin edibles, like the Tribe ones here, they take the longest to set in for me. It took like almost 2 full hours for me to finally start feeling the effect. And the first time I tried them, that was a little bit off-putting.
Yeah.
I was like, oh man, really? But I didn't get any headache from them. I didn't crash.
So all the ones you were taking before were not live resin.
No.
They were
distillate. Hey.
And honestly, I didn't know. I mean, if you go in and look, you're looking at Cosmic, Smokies, great brands, award-winning brands. What they do is they get the plant and they distill it down to just THC, so it's called a distillate. Anything after that, then they have to add the color or terps back into it. So if they're making a vapor, that sort of thing. So most gummies you see are going to be a distillate, right? So by nature, they're going to be a hybrid. It's going to have some sativa and some indica.
And you can find distillates more now that are sativa hybrid or indica specific, but it's still not quite as common. So the ones he has are the Punch brand gummies, which they're known for their chocolate bars, their Punch bars.
Yeah, that's where we tried them the first time.
They come in just a little square. They're also made with distillate. They taste amazing. I've tried the chocolates, and they taste amazing.
I've gotten to try 2 of them, really liked them. I think the ones I tried were 25 milligrams. So the whole package, there's 10 of them, you get 250 milligrams. Those tasted great.
Yeah.
The ones we have now that we sell are 100 milligrams per piece of chocolate. Okay.
Yeah.
So they're gummies. We love the chocolate. So we knew the gummies were probably going to taste good.
Mm-hmm.
So about an hour before we started episode 2 here, we were reading the back of this one, and I had not tried it. And it said here, peak effect will start in 60 to 90 minutes, right?
Mm-hmm.
So it's been exactly 90 minutes since I took a couple of these, because 50 is about a good dose. And for me, when I start getting that buzz, my ears start ringing. And about the time we started talking about it, my ears started really ringing. So
That's
it's coming
funny.
on.
I always know if he texts me, my ears are ringing, an edible's setting in.
An edible is setting in.
It's so funny. I was just thinking about that the other day. Like, I think everybody has a different sort of tell when an edible is setting in. But for me, this is kind of gross, but might as well. A lot of the time, I'll start burping. I'll start burping like an hour and a half, however long, after I take the edible, and it tastes kind of like weed.
I'll be dang.
I don't know. It's a gross.
And then it starts
it's
kicking
gross.
in?
And then usually my chin will start tingling, especially with Little Debbie's. You know what I'm saying?
I do.
Yeah.
And those take me about 2.5 hours.
That's so interesting.
But I want to circle back around because I am the world's worst time traveler. But these are great gummies. And generally, this is what we're going to find. But they're made with a distillate. And she could not metabolize a distillate like we do, and it made her feel bad.
Yeah,
and I feel bad and not get effects. That sucks.
Yeah, and for like over a year, I thought edibles just didn't work for me.
I saw her take one time a bunch of milligrams.
Yeah,
nothing.
And so I just gave up on them. I would tell my bud tenders and at the dispensaries I used to go to, like, yeah, I tried edibles, but they don't really seem to work for me. Like, do you have anything you recommend? And they would just give me something like a higher milligram.
That's the only answer they could come up with. One is, let me just up your dose. Okay.
Yeah, so finally I started working in the industry, started learning a little bit more, and I discovered Full Spectrum.
Mm-hmm.
And I had Googled, like what's the difference between a distillate and a full spectrum gummy?
Because back then, we really didn't see anything different than Smokies.
Yeah, it was pretty much all Smokies.
Yeah, that's it.
And in that dive, that deep dive, I found like a Reddit thread of people asking, does anybody else get really bad migraines or get sick feeling whenever they eat gummies? Basically telling the exact same story that I had experienced.
Yep, exactly.
That they weren't feeling effects from it. They were just getting nauseous or, headaches. They would just crash, and, there was really no effect other than lots of sleep.
It's frustrating for them because people around them are getting the benefits that most of, like I did.
Exactly. I thought like something was wrong with me.
Yeah. That's what we told her too. But we didn't tell you just up your dose.
No,
because that
they
doesn't
didn't
make sense. I mean, it just doesn't. So
no, and I found that it was happening to other people. I found that it was happening to other people, and that the common thread overall was people that had dealt with stomach issues for a long time, which, I've dealt with a vast variety of stomach problems throughout my life. A plethora. That's a beautiful word there.
That was for you, Jake.
I don't have a gallbladder, so that's also a thing. But it's
a big thing right there. Yeah.
It's just my digestive tract will not process the distillate, and it doesn't have a good effect on me. But I was able to be educated on that by Steve and our other coworkers.
But it was all new then. I mean, it really was. And so remember when they were making the distillate, they just got the plant and distilled it down to THC. So with this, for instance, if you're doing a full spectrum, they use the entire plant. So the things that really affect us when we smoke, like the taste, which is the terps, and the cannabinoids, which affect if we're sleepy or happy. Those things are all in those gummies now in Full Spectrum. And she can digest those, and by golly, they work. But the thing is, they work better for all of us, to be honest with you, because I love a distillate. And it's like I said, I took 2 of them about an hour and a half ago, but if I had my ruthers, I'd always get a Full Spectrum because it's the whole effect.
Right. And with Full Spectrum, the main difference is the processing. Mm-hmm. So like he said, with a distillate, the goal is to extract the most THC you can get, essentially.
Bingo.
More often than not, distillates are made with heat. So they're made with like butane or propane, alcohol, stuff like that is a little bit harsher and definitely not as
tastes
clean.
Like crap. Yeah,
it'll add more of a chemical taste for sure. And that's in carts as well, like vapes.
Both. Yeah.
Which we'll get into that at another time as well. Sometimes you can find a distillate that's extracted with CO2, and that is usually a cleaner effect. And I've noticed that I can take edibles and smoke carts that are distillate, but that are extracted with CO2 sometimes.
Yeah.
I don't know what that is, so I still tread very lightly in the distillate range. But yeah, with distillate, you're going to get much higher potency. But if you look at the terpene content, it's going to be 0 or significantly lower than something in a full spectrum. Because the goal with full spectrum is to maintain the full spectrum of the
All
cannabis.
Of it. Yes,
So you're going to get anything that's naturally occurring in it. If there's THCV in it, you're going to get that. If there's CBN, you're going to get that. You know, you're going to get all the things that started out in the flower that they're harvesting it from.
And I love the term. I didn't make it up. It's just, but the entourage effect, it's all supposed to work together, and it does work better. It's more
It enhances the effect so much more.
Yep.
I feel like it is, you know, with a distillate, a lot of the time you get a really intense effect. Usually lasts a shorter amount of time. And so you just kind of hit a cliff. You know, you'll hit the edge and then just drop right off of it.
It's gone. Which I just don't. I don't like. I like the slow.
Yeah, the slow like dive a little bit.
So, and you mentioned these guys. This is the one you introduced me to, and
Nature's Key, and those specifically, they're Party Bites, which used to be called Nerd Nugs.
Yeah, right.
Wait, that's a different brand.
Yeah,
I think
different
so.
brand, but
a same thing,
philosophy kind of thing.
So if you know Nerds gummy clusters, it's the same thing but medicated, and those are my favorite edibles on the planet.
So I mean, honestly,
and they're made by Nature's Key,
and it said Party Bites, best damn cannabis gummies. We're around this stuff every day, and we're going, that's a pretty bold statement.
Yeah, that's big boots to fill.
And it was every bit of that. That was just fun. That was just happy, you know.
They're very, very happy. Those set in well for me, and they are made using a full spectrum hybrid oil.
Yeah.
So with full spectrum, like we said, they're trying to extract all of the properties of the cannabis instead of just the THC. So you're going to get a higher terpene content, which helps the effect set in longer,
it does.
last longer, and it usually makes the effect more prominent, and will give you more of what you're looking for. So especially with people who are truly trying to medicate, going for full spectrum, in my opinion, is the way to go. There are lots of people who do medicate with distillates and they work beautifully for them, but you are getting more of a clean effect with a full spectrum, and it's just going to be more similar to a flower high in a way.
It is.
Because you are getting all of the properties.
It still takes, the same amount of time as edibles usually take, so you've got to be, patient with it. And this is another company that's pretty exclusive. They make small batch, and so. But when you walk into a dispensary and you see, here's 100 milligrams distillate for $7, and you see the same milligrams, but it's full spectrum and maybe $2 or $3 more, that's why. And
it's just a higher quality of processing.
So I would think if they've had the same problems you have, go back to a small dose, 10 milligrams or something, try full spectrum, because you get a lot of times buy full spectrum in just single pack gummies.
Yeah.
Try that, not put a lot of money in it.
Yeah. And we have a lot of patients too that have the same issue. I mean,
bunch.
It's a lot more common than you think. So if you're having that problem with gummies, if every gummy you've taken, you've had a really bad experience.
That headache.
It hasn't worked, or it's made you feel sick in some way. Give full spectrum a shot, or give live resin a shot in your gummies. See how that works, and start out with a lower dose. Don't try to max out from the very beginning, because with full spectrum and with live resin or rosin gummies, since you are getting the entourage effect, it's going to be A little bit more potent usually. Like, a 10 milligram full spectrum might hit you just a little bit differently and probably a little bit harder. Like I said, last a little bit longer than a 10 milligram distillate.
Now, I've not gotten to try the Tribe. And I know.
They're some of my favorites.
I know. So let me ask you something. There's only one little step that they add to make a live resin. But do you see much difference as far as when you take a live resin gummy or edible compared to a full spectrum? Because I've had people ask me, and I always figured since the process was close, it might be the same, but I had no idea.
I feel like it's usually a very similar high, but I have kind of noticed more often than not, live resin gummies take a little bit longer to set in.
Oh, that's right.
I'm not sure why, but that's what happens with me. With the Tribe gummies, they are some of my favorites, and they're actually made with a solventless hash rosin, which is almost impossible to find in a gummy. It's fairly similar to live resin, and we didn't have any live resin gummies on hand, so that's why, I don't have any, but it's a pretty similar thing.
You don't see it in gummies as much. I'm just really proud of these guys, making
They're
such
awesome.
a good product. But boy, they make all the way down to a 5 milligram, all the way up to 50s and 100s.
Yeah,
they can do a great job on helping you dose. So I'd look for Nature's Key too.
Yeah,
they're good. And I will tell you this: we're an hour and 45 in with the punch gummies. And they're working. They are a little bit of time traveling, but happy and luckily no headache.
Hey, that's good.
Yeah, that's awfully good. So,
and I would like to get your thoughts on this too. But as far as taste goes, there is a little bit of a difference in the taste between a distillate and full spectrum and live resin.
Yes.
So with distillate, you almost can't taste it, but if you do, there's usually a little bit of a chemically bitter taste at the end.
That'd be it. Yeah, I think so. You don't taste weed, really.
No, you don't taste weed. You just taste the flavor that they're giving you, and then at the end there might be a little bit of a bite, that's
it. That was the exact taste on her face right there.
Exactly, yeah. I was method acting. I just had to remember.
It works.
And with live resin and full spectrum, typically there's a little bit more of a weedy taste. So a lot of the time they taste fine. I don't mind it. Some people really hate the taste of flour in their edibles, which is very valid.
And it's weird. I like the taste.
Yeah, I don't mind it.
I do like it.
I don't mind it.
Because it's not like it's all of a sudden the whole thing tastes like a brownie. It tastes just like weed.
It's like the marijuana version of umami. It's adding some umami.
Why don't I have that kind of crap in my brain? I think that's awesome. Of course, you're the one that has the tea that I'm not allowed to stir either. So that's
hey, yerba mate. All my folks out there that like yerba mate, let's get into it.
I'm
but
learning.
The stuff in the cup, okay? Not the canned stuff.
No.
That's fine, but
and had the right blessed straw. That's metal.
It's got a filter on the end. It's pretty freaking sick.
So if you're gonna ask, go in and ask. Don't be embarrassed about it. And I'll be honest with you, there's gonna be some dispensaries that will look at you like you're crazy. They don't know.
Yeah,
and that's okay. Just go somewhere else. But
I personally get really excited when people are like, "Okay, so what's actually the difference?" And I'm like, "Are you ready?" Because buckle in. I'm about to tell you, buddy.
Because there is a big difference. Outcome's completely different.
Right.
So, and here's where this kind of comes in too. And we're going to say this when we go out. But every one of you that have had any experiences with edibles at all, whether it's gummies or ice cream or baked goods, it doesn't really matter. If you had experiences you didn't expect or you didn't like, or ask us. We'll give you the ways to get a hold of us because we can talk to you about how those kind of things generally will hit you. Because, for instance, baked goods will hit different than other ones. So, and there's a lot of questions about this, about dosing. Start low.
Start low
and
always.
Wait 2 hours.
Even if you think you're macho and you can do it.
I smoke a pound of weed a
careful.
day. I can eat a ton of those. No.
You may not be able to. You may surprise yourself, but
And they
really start
all
low.
Digest differently. If you think
They
about
do.
whether than taking it through your lungs, which really actually takes it straight to your bloodstream. So now we're getting it faster. How we digest the food or whatever the edible is will be a little bit different for all of us. But at the end of the day, the effects are different. They are different than smoking. So go low, just to start first.
Start low.
I always joke, but this one I don't, because I think that's really important. Just
I
don't
do
have a bad
too.
experience.
And you know what? Especially in Oklahoma right now, with the market that we have, 10 milligram edibles are cheap.
Cheap.
They are cheap, and you can find singles too. So really, if you're starting out, get a single, get a lower dose, and like we said, ask your bud tender, because they might shoo you off and they might not give you any information. And quite frankly, that's a sign that you need to go somewhere else.
Go somewhere else, yeah.
And find a place where they will help you without any judgment, because we are not in the business to shame people for not having the same experience as us.
And we didn't even know what to do beforehand either way.
No,
So, yeah, I'm with you. You got to learn. And it's our favorite thing, isn't it? When
It's our
someone comes
favorite.
in, yeah, I like it.
Yeah, I like it. And there have been so many people that have come back. I always say, tell me what you think next time you come in. I would love to hear your feedback. And I'm not lying, because it helps us be able to do things like this, be able to know for ourselves what's out there, and also know how we can direct people in, the right path. If they're experiencing trouble.
And I wouldn't think it's going to be but an episode or two down the line, but there are so many ways to get your medicine that you don't have to just eat or smoke. Or there's so many other ways to take it that you can dose exactly, feel comfortable taking it, you don't smell like it, and we're gonna look at some of those, because they're a lot of fun, and they take a little bit of the guesswork out, and you feel a little bit more comfortable. Find a dispensary that'll talk to you about that, because those are different as well. They set on in 15 minutes. So
right,
yeah. And if you're not expecting that, and your buddies Mason and Steven said 2 hours on an edible, well, tinctures are different. So
and
right?
Something that I didn't even think about until just now.
Good call.
Also, speaking of not smelling bad, we're gonna get real funky.
My alarm was going off.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was getting a little bit too clear-minded, because if you notice, I started out this podcast just a little bit.
We smoked before the podcast. We smoked.
I'm ready to get back to that.
Sleepy
Mamba
Mamba from our literally the goddess of cannabis. Our dear friend Mandy suggested that we got that. So
thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you for your contribution.
Good call, because we were toasty when we started.
It was a good pregame, then this just topped it right off.
But then
He's cruising with that.
Well, I did. If I hadn't have told you, I wouldn't have been able to tell you during the episode what the onset time was.
Exactly.
So I was doing this for you.
Yeah.
Giving it up for the team.
Hey, you would think too, with that tiny little package, that they would be smashed in there. That's what she said.
Yes, smashed is what I said.
I
was proud
But they
of
did a
them.
good job.
Well,
It's not just one big blob in there.
and
You'll
their
find that
packaging for their
sometimes.
chocolates are the best in the industry. I mean, because you cannot get the wrong dose unless you just want to get the higher dose.
Yeah.
And they taste great. So they do a good job. And these, I like
And their
them.
little chocolates come in a fancy little plastic box inside the case, like inside
They
the
do.
cardboard box. So then you've just got a cute little stash box after.
Yeah, you do. I didn't know where we were going with that, but you notice I just kept going, yeah, that's it.
Yeah. Anyways, I don't know how we veered off. Oh, because I opened this.
Oh, yeah.
From the point I was trying to make. Nano infused. I didn't even think about that. But nano infused, guys, if you see that on an edible, probably going to set in 30 minutes.
Yep.
Almost like max 30 minutes.
And that's another one that I've only seen in distillates. I don't remember
Really?
seeing none of those. I don't remember, but it's always interesting when a couple of brands will actually show a little clock and say 15 to 30 minutes, and you're going, that's pretty fast. But they seem to be doing it. I
Yeah.
mean, it is getting better all the time.
I
This
feel like there
flower
was
could
something.
not be any better, I don't believe.
It's so good.
Fuck me, I'm sorry. That slipped right out before she could edit it, but
I feel like there was something I tried recently that was a new product that was nano infused, and boy, it worked quick. Oh my god,
the drink,
was it the drinks?
it may have been.
Are the Ojai's nano
Ojai's.
infused? I've got one in the fridge. I'm gonna go
Why
get
don't
it.
you do? Yeah,
I will take that though.
Oh yeah, and also, even if it's straight water or even if it's Ojai, I'm starting to get cotton throat. I hate to make you.
No.
I am going to be the waiter or waitress more times than she is during this show. I don't want you to think, is she going over there getting a drink for him? It's so I don't choke to death. But all right.
All right. So since we lit up this joint again, I gotta ask you, Steve, what are you smoking about today? What's going on today? What are you smoking about? Or this week in general?
We've worked a lot. I mean, we have worked a lot lately, and it's been really busy. I worked this morning, and it was a zoo, which is wonderful. I'm very thankful. But by the end of the day, my shoulders are just toast. And by the time I got here, they were toast. I've been having trouble getting jars down. That was really it today, and it worked. I've got no shoulder pain at all, and I can't take pain medicine. So it's this or just put up with it. And by golly, it worked, So yeah. What about you?
I hadn't thought about it.
Probably because whatever it was, you already forgot about
I already forgot because this flower chocolate Kush, I could put it either way, honestly, because we said we were gonna give our review on it.
Oh, that's right. We better do that.
I could put it either way, because it's making my mind a little silly. Well, it's just very stony, but like in more professional terms, it's it kind of slows down my mind, which is nice.
Yeah.
Sometimes I need that. I needed that today.
There's the indica.
I'm feeling relaxed, but I'm feeling extremely uplifted. Like I'm not worried about anything.
No. Now, the only thing I notice though is that it's a warning sign. If I start thinking I'm funnier than I really am,
yeah, that's usually a problem.
So that's a little bit of the other part of it that you can feel.
Yeah.
But I sure get the indica. I do get that part.
Yeah.
And for me, I always was taught chocolate equals chocolope, which equals sativa.
I know.
And so it's a nice blend.
It is.
But it worked.
It is. Yeah. I was having a pretty bad headache earlier today, like kind of just consistently.
She was eating distillates.
I was eating distillates just straight up out of the
drinking distillate out of the jar.
Yeah, out of the jar. Yeah, it definitely helped with that.
Did it?
That's good too. Dose joints are infused with full spectrum oil. I don't ever get headaches from them.
See, there we go again.
We'll get into joints too,
Yes,
but infused joints, that's another place to look for the difference in what it's infused with.
Yeah.
Whether it's distillate, full spectrum, or live resin,
and you'll
or
see
hash.
Because we've got a little pre-roll that's like a half gram from
She's
Weedsies.
out.
Oh
Is that
gosh.
a sign?
It's called Weedsies. She's called Weedsies.
She's called Weedsies.
And they are small and they hit like a train, and we love them, but they're distillate.
Yeah.
And so for folks that might cause a headache, that's something to look at. These
Tread
are
lightly.
full spectrum.
They're good.
Did those ever give you headaches?
The flavored ones do.
Yeah.
I'm sensitive to that too.
Yeah.
Like flavored stuff, at the added terps.
Go to the original.
I'm pretty flavored. I'm pretty flavored.
Yeah.
Maybe I shouldn't have relit this.
No, it's a great way to close out the show. I think that is absolutely awesome.
But yeah, my headache's gone. I'm feeling good. So really, that's what I'm smoking about. I had a headache.
I'm glad.
It's gone. It's been a good day. It's my day off, and we're chilling.
It has been a good day. I've gotten to smoke a lot of flower and
yeah, you got to
and help a lot of people.
People.
It was pretty good. I think that was great. So, but if we're gonna help folks here, you guys are going to have to talk to us. I mean, you really are going to have to.
Yeah.
And we really want you to. Anything about this, or it doesn't even have to be about this episode. About the first episode, or just anything you're dealing with.
Ask us questions, give us suggestions.
Yes, please do. Because
tell us we're cool and funny and awesome and amazing.
If you just tell Mason that she's intelligently funny, I would really appreciate that, because we've already established that I am. So
Steve has been confirmed as intelligently funny. So now I'm looking for that.
I can barely read, so don't do that.
Or give me like witty, beautiful comedic timing, something like that. Just give me compliments.
Compliment us on
Shower
our clothes
us.
too. That's always a good one. I'm going to put this down before I smoke anymore, but
it's
please
getting at a dangerous level.
You have trouble finding products. You got questions. It's a good thing for us to build the next episode about it. Something really is new. And there is new things coming. We've started seeing freeze-dried edibles, which is brand new.
Cheez-Its?
Cheez-Its.
We encountered those the other day. I don't know if we'll be able to get our hands on them, but we encountered them. And
there's a freeze-dried soup out there.
Yeah, tomato soup.
Medicated. So we're going to have this stuff. But if you see it and have questions, please do. Let us know.
Yeah, let us know. And we're here for you.
Yeah, but we really appreciate everyone. Make sure to let us know that we're doing better every time. So we don't get discouraged. And again,
make sure to tell us we're cool, funny, awesome, amazing.
Other than that, we're golden.
And beautiful. But I think that's it for today, everybody. I hope you have a beautiful week. And we'll see you next week on Smokin' and Jokin'.
Smokin' and Jokin'. Thank you, guys.
See ya. Thanks for joining our time travel this week. If you have any questions, comments, or requests, you can reach us on Instagram and Twitter at SNJPodShow, email us at smokinandjokinpodshow@gmail.com, or watch our videos and exclusive content on YouTube and WeedTube at Smokin' and Jokin' Pod Show. As always, details on featured products and links to our social media will be in the description. Everyone stay cool, stay medicated, and we'll see you next week on Smokin' and Jokin'.
Welcome to LA, brother.
What if he liked it and flew in your mouth?